Hey, Picks and Parlay family, welcome to Power Hour. It is Monday, August 22nd, and this is your Picks and Parlay Power Hour. Monday through Friday, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. I am here, and we are going to go over, here's what we're going over today. We're going to go over the American Conference of college football. We're going to talk some West Virginia and Pittsburgh. I almost forgot who the college team we're going to talk. We're also going to talk some top tight ends for fantasy, and we're going to go over the week 2 recap for you. We're going to do that. What you guys are going to do is you guys are going to hit the like button, ring the bell for notifications, so you never miss any of our live shows, any shows we do, whether it's this Power Hour or any of the other ones. Don't forget to also check out our friends over at BetMGM. They're going to give you up to $1,000 risk-free on your first bet. All you got to do is sign up. Use the promo code MORNING. You can follow the link in the description of the video. You can just download the app. Use that promo code MORNING. That'll get you $1,000 risk-free. Now, with me today, I'm going to bring in the first of our 2 guests that I have here for you. Craig Trapp. How we doing, Mr. Trapp?
Very well. Hey, Lenny, you forgot. You forgot about
Kansas.
Kansas.
I kind of I lead you into it. I let the big finish.
Right. The Jayhawks. The Jayhawks. No, well, not necessarily all Jayhawks fans in the state of Kansas, but all Kansas people, residents. September 8th, you go live. BetMGM is so excited, and they are going to keep that risk-free $1,000 like everybody else gets, but you also get $200 in free bets just for signing up. You don't have to deposit. All you have to do is click the link to sign up or use that or download the app and use the promo code MORNING, and they will give you $200 just for signing up. So make sure you do so. And then on September 8th, when you go to wager, you can deposit risk-free first wager up to $1,000. I'll guarantee it doesn't lose, just like rest of the states do.
Boom. There you go, Kansas. Who says we don't ever do anything for Kansas? Now you can't say that.
Yeah.
Can't say it now,
That's
can
right.
you? Can't say it.
All
right, let's.
Hey, that's like one of those promos that like nobody. I was not expecting they were going to do much for the state of Kansas, but hey,
boom,
go BetMGM.
There you go. Let's talk week 2. We had some crazy stuff happen in week. I mean, I don't want to say crazy. I think the NFL and the sports books kind of came back to reality with these over-unders. Not as many overs. Kind of fell back in. Talk to me a little bit about that, because I know week 1 it was over.
Yep.
Now let's talk about week 2.
Well, we still have Monday Night Football left tonight, so we'll just have 15 games. But so far, favorites covered 8 of the 15 games. The over hit in 7 of the 15 games. So basically 500 on each, which is, I'm guessing if you ask the sportsbook managers, that is what they're looking for, about 50-50. Right. And they're pretty happy with that. I think you're going to see, and you saw it in week 2, not a lot of first string guys went and a lot of second string guys out as well. I don't know if it's because of the Zach Wilson injury in week 1 and people were like, you know what? But even last night, the Giants, star defensive end, he's out. It sounds like for 3 to 4 weeks. He got hit with the low block there coming across. Very tough to see. I thought maybe it would have been ACL, but luckily it sounds like just 3 to 4 weeks. So I think you're going to see in week 3 very similar, even with a week off. There is no week 4 preseason. So with the week off, you would think maybe you'd still see some starters. But I've been hearing Patriots and Raiders, they're going to be practicing before the Raiders, of course, host in the Patriots this week. I've already heard that you're not going to see a whole lot of Patriots players playing as far as starters, and I'm guessing Raiders as similar. So I think with all the backups, you're not going to see as many points in most cases because obviously they just don't get that many reps. Now that you don't get these long training camps, Lenny, or the 2-a-days practices,
right?
You're a guy that's 3rd or 4th string, not getting a whole lot of snaps.
That's fair. Any big surprises out of week 2 that you that stood out for you?
Well, I think there's one that not just a surprise. Ravens, that long win streak, their preseason win streak, I think it goes back 4 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's 5 years, I guess it would be now. 6, right? But either way, they won last night 24-17 and covered. I thought it was a little surprising that the Cowboys played so well. They played so poorly in game 1. to put up 32 and score 29 in the first half and beat a Chargers team that I think has a lot of depth and a lot of talent. I was a little shocked just because I didn't expect to see many Cowboys players. But I'm guessing with all those penalties in week 1, I think Cowboy fans were like, you know what? And coaches were like, let's focus and be more disciplined. And it resulted in a very good output for the Cowboys.
That's fair. That's fair. I do think I was my Lions won. Woohoo! They beat up on the Colts. And woohoo! What I liked about the Lions' victory itself was they held on to win, and they were able to shut down the Colts at the end and try and keep their defense held on. And the defense is going to be the Achilles heel of that team, which that could say that for most of the teams in the league is really,
but
you don't have a good defense, you don't have a good team.
Right?
What's
they've
that?
Given up 25 plus, right? They've given up 25 plus.
They won 27-26. So I mean, it's
and
we're gonna have to outrun some people here in football for the Lions to get to that 8-win magic numbers I'm saying.
I think you're right. They're not going to be a great defense, but turnovers is the great equalizer in football. If you can create turnovers, you can have a bad defense. And, the Patriots used to be not great between the 20s, but they would hold teams to field goals and get turnovers.
Right.
That's key now in the NFL is win the turnover battle.
And don't break.
Special team. Yeah. So I'm not going to give up on the Lions defense just yet. I do think it's probably not going to be their strength. But, I'm
drinking the blue I'm drinking the blue Kool-Aid, but I'm not drinking
I'd rather my defense look good week 1 than in the preseason. And sometimes, teams just play very vanilla on the defensive side. So
there's some hope there.
Week 3, though. Week 3, I don't expect to see much. I would say, I'm not saying you're a degenerate because I will be gambling and betting.
I was just going to say.
But I've given out 9 best bet winners in the NFL, or 7-2, and so far we're headed into Monday Night Football. So hopefully 8-2. Next week, I'll probably only have this week's preseason games, this week 3. I'll probably only have 2 or 3 plays that I play total because I just don't think there's, like I said, you really have to be selective when it comes to NFL preseason, more so than any other time of the year. So don't go crazy in week 3.
Fair enough. Yeah, week 3, tread lightly. Tread lightly, folks. I know all the NFL is, so tread lightly. Let's switch gears a little bit here. We're going to talk some fantasy football now. So before I do that, though, don't forget to hit that like button, ring the bell, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our shows here on the Picks and Parlay Network, any of our live shows. But let's talk some tight end stuff. Now, top tight ends in fantasy football, it could be a tricky subject. I mean, there's like 4 guys that are solid, and then it's tight end stuff for fantasy. So kind of falls off the end. Oh, there's maybe 5, I'll be honest with you. And that's and they're the same 5 guys. For me, anyway. But I'll tell you right now, my number 1 tight end is Darren Waller from the Raiders. I think he's gonna finish the number 1 tight end of the year.
Over Kelsey.
Yep. Over Travis.
I think you hit your head. I think he's going to get less. He's going to get less targets. Last year he was injured, but when he was in there, he got a ton of targets because he was the number 1 receiver on the team, even though he was tight end. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's going to get that this year with, of course, Adams coming over and the great connection that they supposedly have had in camp and everything. So I do think he won't get his double teamed as much. So maybe it ends up more touchdowns, not as many receptions. Because last year he seemed like So I in the red zone, if you don't double him, he's going to be a nightmare for you. But he's definitely in the top 5. To me, I think the number 1 guy is Kelsey. I mean, he has been the number 1 guy since he's basically been in the league. I think he's going to be very good. I also think George Kittle, hard to go against him. I mean, George Kittle, the only worry there, obviously, Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think they're going to pass the ball as much. I think they're going to protect Trey Lance. Maybe being able to throw in the middle of the field, he'll get still his targets, but I think that is a worry, and I could see where people maybe draft him as the 3rd or 4th or 5th guy, not because he's not talented, because of the quarterback play there. I think Mark Andrews is going to have a really big year for Baltimore. They have no weapons on the outside for
They
Baltimore.
really don't.
So I think he'll get a ton of targets. And they run the ball so well. Being able to play action pass to the tight end, I think he'll get a bunch of short, 10 yards or less touchdowns because they run it so well. And then Kyle Pitts. I think he had a decent year last year. Obviously, quarterback play, maybe a question there. Mariota, how is he going to play? I don't know. But Kyle Pitts, his talent is top 5 talent. And then Waller, like you said, he's the other guy. I mean, to me, you really probably can't go wrong with any of those 5 guys. Obviously, I'm taking Kelsey if I could get him. But after that, those other 4, I'm probably not upset as long as I end up with one of those. Now, if you do not draft early tight end, you're going to have to hope that the guys that you draft. And so my next 5, and I'll put these in order, but Knox for the Bills, I think obviously that offense is going to be awesome. They're going to be in the red zone a lot, so I think they'll have a lot of chances at a play action pass or short yardage touchdowns. Schultz for the Cowboys, that offense, I mean, we saw it last year when healthy. That offense was as good as anybody, and I think he'll be really good. Philly, Goddard, I think is how you say it. Philly. I mean, let's remember he ran a Hall of Fame tight end out of town because he was ready last year. I think he's going to have a pretty good year. I think your boy Hawkinson for the Lions. I think they're going to have to put up points. Let's be honest. We talked about their defense.
I'm tired of hearing about how good he is. I'm tired of hearing about it, and I just want to see it.
Time to do it.
It's time. I'm tired of hearing about how great he is. Top 10 draft pick. What have you done?
I think Ertz for Arizona, especially in the first 6 games when Hopkins is going to be out. And I think injuries he's kind of been banged up the last few years as he's getting up there in age. I think the first 6 games could be really good. And Arizona, let's remember how good they were early last year. Yeah. So that would be my next 4 or 5 guys. I would say if you really want to go out on a limb, Hunter Henry, I think, could have a good year in New England.
I got one, and you haven't even mentioned him yet. Pat Freiermuth from the Steelers. I can't say his last name, but Big Pat from the Steelers. That guy, I like him, and I think he could. He's like you said, if you don't get a couple guys early in the tight end fantasy football draft, don't panic. Don't panic, because Pat will be there late in the league, and you can take him, and he's going to get you some touchdowns. That guy can.
Quarterback plays a problem there, though. Like that's a question mark. If he was playing for the Bengals, wouldn't be a problem. Like he would be a top 6 or 7 guys.
We don't know the Steelers have a quarterback problem yet. Mitch Trubisky could be good. Kenny Pickett.
They're good. They're good options. You're not going they're going to run the ball and play to their defense. In my opinion, is the Steelers. They're not outscoring people, and they're just not. That's just not the type of team that the Steelers have been in the past. I don't think they're going to be that in the future. I think he'll be a top 15 tight end. I'm just looking for a guy that can be like, if I'm drafting a guy late, I didn't get, say, one of my 5 or 6 favorites. I'm looking for a guy that could kind of come from nowhere and be a top 5 guy. I think Hunter Henry has a more upside just because we know Bill Belichick has always loved tight ends. They always do well. I think Mac Jones is going to have a really good year. They don't have a ton of weapons on the outside.
From the Buccaneers, I mean, with Gronk gone, and Tom Brady likes his tight end.
Well, they also they have 2 tight ends though. They got the guy from Minnesota, from Cincinnati. What was that kid's name? Can't think. But they went out and got some veterans to kind of fill in for Gronk. And I'm still not convinced Gronk won't be there come week 8, 9, 10.
He won't be there. He won't be there. I watched him do this. Gronk watching the UFC with the Gronks watching the UFC and think he's not coming back.
The last guy though, Lenny, Logan Thomas for Washington. If Washington can just he has big time potential. I mean, for you guys that remember that he played at Virginia Tech, quarterback. He has amazing talent, athleticism. I think he could have a good year. But those are my guys. But like I said, after you get past the first 5 guys, I'm drafting them the first 3 rounds. If I don't get them, I'm waiting 7th, 8th round because
don't panic. Don't panic, people.
Don't
just sit.
Don't try to over and be unless there's just one guy you have a really strong opinion and a guy like you like a guy from the Steelers.
If you're a Lions fan and you just see TJ Hawkinson out there waiting for you to draft him, like, damn it. And you draft him knowing damn well that you shouldn't, but you do it anyway.
Yeah. But the good thing, if you draft late tight ends, then you maybe go back to back. Go like 8th, 9th round. You take 2 tight ends and 2 guys that are diamond in the rough, and you play them depending on who's playing the worst defense on that given week. So, but that's what I like. I don't know, Lenny. Tight ends used to be like forgot about. Now, tight ends can be better than receivers. Like if you get Kelsey, he could be
that guy in Atlanta. We just mentioned him. Pitts in Atlanta. He's a number 1 wideout on some teams. I mean, if he wasn't so,
he's the number 1 wideout on that team.
He's number 1 wideout on that team for sure. So I mean,
Ridley was gambling on sports,
right? All right, Craig Trapp, I appreciate it, but we got to move on. We still got some West Virginia and some American Conference to talk about, some college football now. So I'll see you on the flip side. Till then, take care, buddy. All right. And he's out. All right, guys, I'm going to remind everybody to hit that like button. Don't forget to ring the bell, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our shows, live shows or any free picks or anything like that. Don't forget to check out BetMGM. Their sportsbook promos up to $1,000 risk-free on your first bet. Keep in mind, in Kansas, you could sign up right now. You get $200 free bets, okay? Free play. You can't use it until September 8th. The football season starts, but it is there available, and you get the $1,000 risk-free bet, okay? Use that promo code MORNING. Now, with me here all the way from the headquarters of Earl Sports Bets, wherever that may be, I don't know. But Tim Earl, how we doing?
Oh, I'm doing really well. I mean, I'm super excited for college football. Me and you have just been like, game time decision in general has been college football galore since like last week, and now we get to actually Saturday, week 0 games. I'm super pumped for that, and then following Saturday, I'll be in Greenville at the East Carolina NC State game. So I'm ready for some college football now.
Are you sure you're ready? Are you sure?
I am more excited about college football this year than the NFL, and that normally doesn't happen.
Well, let's talk about this game right out the gate. I think this game has an opportunity to remind you why you're going to miss college football when it's gone again. Yeah. Thursday night, September 1st, we get right into it. West Virginia at Pitt. Pitt's -7. Here's what I got. The over-under is 51.5. Where are you going with this one? What are you thinking right out? I mean, that 7's tricky.
Yeah, I'm not really looking at a side in this one, although come early in the season, and actually most of the year, I'm going to be more interested in dogs than favorites because that's just my approach to it. I'm going to look more at the total here. And I think the line movement itself is telling us everything. These two teams were heavy over teams last year. We saw a lot of high-scoring games between these two sides. And this total went from a 54 to a 51.5. A lot of reading college football is reading line movements. And when it comes to that, I'm going under. I think this is going to be a big defensive game. I think we're going to see a lot of close games come the first couple weeks of the year. Teams getting affiliated with their defenses, getting locked in with their offenses. We're going to see some interesting games first couple of weeks. With this one, especially in a matchup that's West Virginia and Pitt, the two teams that are kind of like, is it the backyard brawl? This is been a rivalry for a while. They haven't played in a while, but this is a big rivalry game. I think that you're going to see some good defense when it comes to this one. And if you're a big fan of points and back and forth, I don't think you're going to see a 35-31 type of game, but you will see a good one. I think this one ends maybe like 28-21 or something in that range, and just goes barely under.
Like but 24-21, 24-20.
I would be totally down for that.
Mid-40s.
And when it comes to it, I would lean West Virginia plus the points just because I feel like this is going to be a close back and forth game. Pittsburgh is going to be taking a slight step down for me this year just because no Kenny Pickett, which was one of the top quarterbacks in college football last year. So I do think Pitt takes a slight step down, although I do think they're going to be one of the better teams in the ACC. West Virginia, I think they'll have an okay year. They had a little bit of a rough one. I think they finished 6-6 last year. but not a team that I'm going to go crazy with. I like the under. I think this one's going to be a good defensive matchup between these two sides.
I like it. There you have it. I don't hate that at all. All right, so let's switch gears here before we get too far into stuff because we're going to talk all kinds of college football here, folks. Tim requested to talk about this conference personally. He's like, we're doing conference talk, predictions, over-unders, all this. He goes, I want to talk about the American Conference. And I'm like, all right, Tim, talk about the American Conference. Odds and predictions here are the American. One of my favorite. I like conferences like this, the American, the MAC, the Sun Belt, Fun Belt, teams that you'll get some smaller schools in there.
But those are always the more fun games.
Man, they are. They just are. I mean, you don't blink. Don't go to the bathroom unless it's a commercial because you could miss 2-3 touchdowns.
Exactly.
So talk to me about the American here. I got you down for some. I know your plays here, and I'm okay with most of them. I'm just telling you right now. Go ahead with your band.
I made sure I got them. I'm an East Carolina guy. I mean, the ESP headquarters is in Greenville, so I got to go with my Pirates. But no, looking at the certain teams, I feel like going right into it, you could just take a bunch of teams and just throw them away. They'll end up finishing at the bottom of the league. So Temple is not going to be good. USF, South Florida, not good.
Mm-hmm.
Navy, not good. Tulsa, not good. Those teams will finish bottom of the barrel. Tulane will take a step up. I think they had a decent season last year. I think they had to take a slight step up, but nothing crazy. Memphis had a good year last year. I think they take a slight step down this year. SMU, I think, is going to be about the same as they were last year, if not take a slight step down. Obviously, my Pirates, I think they take a step up. And this is one of the biggest years for them to do it. They're facing 4 ranked teams this year: NC State, BYU, Cincinnati, and Houston, according to the preseason rankings, of course, because some of those teams will definitely drop out. Cincinnati will definitely be an interesting team to see. I think they take a slight step down. UCF, I think, take a big step up. I think they're going to be one of the most competitive teams in this conference. But when it comes to it, I got a couple of win totals. I like UCF, obviously, to take a big step up in the win totals. I think they win 9+ games. I think they have a very favorable schedule. East Carolina, same deal. I think they take a step up, win 6 or 7 games, and make a bowl game again. And I know this is not going to be the popular pick, and when Craig sees it, sorry, but I think his Wildcats or Bearcats take a slight step down, losing Desmond Ridder and one of their top safeties. It's going to be a tough one.
13-1 last year to under 9.
Yeah, I think Cincinnati can legitimately finish 4th in this league. I 3rd or 4th in that area. I think SMU will be around where they are. I think East Carolina will be around where they are. My top 2 teams in this conference, though, I think UCF finishes like 9-3 area. I think they're the second best team in this conference. Houston is the team I'm going to be the highest on. I think they go over. I think they win the AAC. They were so close last year going up against Cincinnati, who had the best year in American Conference history besides when UCF ran the table and ended up beating Auburn in a bowl game and all that stuff. Cincinnati had one of the best seasons there, but they lost some of their big players. Houston lost 2 games last year. AAC championship game versus Cincinnati and week 1 versus Texas Tech. Houston's got a very, very favorable schedule. Honestly, as much as I don't want to see it happen, I think they run the table. I think their toughest game, I mean, they don't even get, they don't have to play Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's the thing. They don't have to play Cincinnati.
They play no ranked teams.
The Texas I think the toughest last year was a little fluky, week 1, and they got beat by Cincinnati, a good Cincinnati team last year.
And that game was close. That game was close. Right. And when I look at Houston's schedule, the toughest games I see are 2 out of the last 4 weeks of the year. They're in SMU, which is going to be a tricky game, and it's always difficult to go to Greenville. But
Right.
I think it's going to be a very and even Houston ECU is going to be a great game because that game went to overtime last year in Houston. I think that one could be an interesting game. I think Houston wins the AAC. I think they're the best team in the AAC, and when it comes to it, that's where I'm going to see the best value. If you don't want to go after Houston, I think the other team that's going to be in the AAC championship game is UCF. So if you want to grab them at plus 300. One of those teams, I think, wins it. I think Cincinnati takes a step down. But at the end of the day, these are going to be a lot of fun matchups. And with this league, you're either going to get super, super high-scoring games, or some games you're going to have teams that just shut down other teams. So the American Conference is going to be one of the most fun conferences for me to watch. Obviously, I'm an East Carolina person, but this is one of my favorite conferences, and there's going to be a lot of exciting games in the American this year.
I think there's 4 teams, and you mentioned all 4, that there's talent-wise is up there. And then it just, again, drop off. Man, I'm talking like major drop off. So, and it is what it is. But I like this Houston pick. I like this Houston team. I think they're fun to watch. This conference is fun to watch. I mean, I'm just saying, so look for them, a lot of scores and stuff like that. So, look for that. I like Houston over 9 wins. I could get behind that all day, and
I think they're 11-1.
All of that.
11-1 or 10-2 at the worst.
The one I'm a little iffy on is I think Cincinnati gets to 10 wins. I think they can compete. They still take a step back, but at 10, I think they still get double digits. That's the only thing on that, though. But I think UCF has a really good chance to compete. That's probably Houston's biggest competition is UCF in this this year. Is I think it's theirs to kind of take it away. And ECU, I'm always rooting for them. So let's go. ECU win the whole damn thing. But a whole damn thing.
But easy.
But we'll take Houston over 9 wins plus 200 to win that AAC. All right, Tim Earl, tell us what you got going on over at Picks and Parlays. And everything like that.
Still running with baseball. WNBA's in the playoffs. CFL still going on. NFL preseason, regular season's right around the corner. Saturday, week 0 of college football. Lots of good stuff, and before we know it, NBA, NHL, and college basketball will be thrown right into the mix. So lots of stuff coming up, and I'm super excited to get into everything.
Awesome. All right, don't forget when you're over at picksandparlays.net, you're looking for Tim Earl or any of the other premium handicappers, use that promo code NFL, save you 20% off the entire site. Till then, Tim Earl's telling you take Houston over the wins, take them to win the AAC on the West Virginia. Hold on, I got it right here. Let me take this thing off. We're taking the under in this game, West Virginia, Pittsburgh. Why I can't remember who the hell West Virginia is playing in my life. The West Virginia game, whoever they're playing, take the under 51.5. Till then, folks, we're out of here. Good luck unless you're against us.